Hey everybody, this is Marty, the JavaScript party. I'm a buddy Rhett here. This is Sunday. It is 12:30. We've been making videos for quite some time. Rhett is getting sick of it. She's sick of it. All right, Rhett, are you sick of it? Yep, she's sick of it. But so we're gonna get this last one in. Yesterday was super quick, and we did get it working. And let's see if it still works. I have had times where okay, so it still works. But we have, okay, let's look in our console because I feel like we might have an error in there. No, we do not have an error in the console. Let me hit reload. Yeah, I'm not seeing any kind of error in there, but we do have an error in the editor, and we get an error here in this console in the editor. So that's the browser console. We don't have any problems. Okay, Rhett. Okay, Rhett. We're almost done. We're almost done, Rhett. Rhett, we're almost done. All right. But, but, so we have this yellow line here. We have that. I think I might have fixed it, but not saved it yesterday. But this is what I like to call a learning opportunity. Like, WTF? What is the problem here? What is going on? And I think it's a shame that this is named imports. It seems like there would probably have been a better name for it, but I can't think of one. So all I can say is it's a shame that it's named. I think all we want to do is delete it from here. And I guess because there's some subtle difference between this kind of import and this kind of import. And my guess is this kind of import is like, hey, I'm bringing something in so that you can see what it's like. So you can understand what the shape of it is. And so you can understand that. Whereas this, I think, might mean, hey, I'm bringing this in and creating something. And I think that might be what the subtle difference is. I do not know exactly what the difference is, but that arrow does go away, or that underline goes away. Now if it save, yeah, we don't seem to be getting anything. Let me hit Control C. Let me type CLS so that I can clear it. And let's run it. Oh, are you sweet talking to me now, Rhett? Are you sweet talking? So we're waiting for it to build and messing with Rhett while we're doing it. Okay, yeah. So now it's nice and clean. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I really do wish I understood what the subtle difference is between this import and this import. But it did. The error it gave was interesting because it was upset that it was never used in the actual template itself. When we looked at that error message, I guess that makes a little more sense. Believe with no, we can't. It used to be that you would, and I actually prefer this where I had CLS and it was gone. You used to type in CLS and it was still up there. It just was scrolled off. So like when we did an import here, the error we got, I think now makes a little more sense. Um, let's see. Yeah, so it says that this is not used within the template. So it doesn't want you to import. So, so I think that means that like there's a little bit of extra processing done here. I suspect that's a good example of something that would get optimized away. Like that bug would not be a problem when you actually built it because it wouldn't actually create it because it recognized that it never used that. But it did use it here, and I guess when you hit open, it does that creation thing. It'd be neat to understand that a little better. All right. So now the next thing is what we want is to be able to control certain things within that, and we're probably going to want to do that in. Well, I did want to also say that like there's something very notorious about using Angular material where once you figured it out, it's simple, but the process of figuring it out is extremely difficult, and if you don't have it figured it out, it's difficult. But you sort of pass this threshold, and now it's like easy. You graduate into easy mode. Um, but and I think a lot of people do like that about Angular material. Like that's one of the benefits is that hey, you put some time in, you kind of prove yourself, and then you get rewarded by it being easy. Now, what I want is I I guess it's hideous, right? Like we want to make it look a little better. So let's go look at Angular Material and see what they did. And I will say that like we're not doing any voice. Like we are just completely in the Angular Material rabbit hole. And I think that is kind of a bummer because, that's the main reason you can't really use my stuff as like a tutorial because it just doesn't flow. We go through, it's more like actually coding in real life, not a tutorial. There's a very big difference. To put together a good tutorial is a lot of hard work for the people that do it, and then you learn a very good lesson and you understand some concepts. That's different than coding a project. And so let's come over here and let's look at this. This is what we care about. So it's kind of like, it'll be fun. Let's just copy and paste this whole thing and see what breaks, because it's going to break. That's going to break. It's going to be broken. So Control A, Control V. Save. So it's like, I don't even know what Mat-Dialog content is, bro. And it doesn't know what my Mat-Dialog actions are. So my guess is that I need to import a module. So let us see the TypeScript. And yeah, I'm guessing that we need this module, but we probably don't need them all. And I think we'll have to do, oh no, see, this is what I think we need. We need this. Okay, no, but, I don't know. See the thing, okay, so this is weird because see we have two components in here. See this one imports all of these things. Button, actions, dialog close, title. Okay, so we are going, this is what we need, I think. And then since I don't have anything in my imports, I'm just going to blindly import all of this. And then I don't understand why it is broken. Did I miss a comma? No, what? Okay, so we definitely don't, I don't think, well, we probably do need button module as well. Let me see this. Because we probably have a button in here. Yeah, so we need the button module too. And everyone, I'm telling you, when you, like, if you, so like many times you have to work on things like this and you're under the gun. And you're professionally working and you're under the gun and it's very, very stressful. But when that is why, if you can merge your job and a hobby, during the hobby time when you're doing it as a hobby, like I'm doing it right now, you can take your time and understand and dig in. Whereas when you're doing it in job mode, you you can't. You need to get that stuff working. You need to produce. You need to be a good, reliable person. But like when you're doing a hobby, now there is, I will warn that I have, like there was a time I used to do, instead of videos, I used to like do blogging, and I would write, like, I had thousands and thousands and thousands of blogs of different ideas and thoughts that I had about software development. And it was funny because one day I was like, oh, it was a WordPress, and I was like, I need to figure out how to like count how many people are going to my WordPress. And I wrote some software, figured out how to do it in WordPress and all that, and I was like, oh, there's a bug here, because like literally every like I would hit reload on the page, and then like maybe 5, 10 seconds, 15 seconds later, I'd hit reload, and that number would have gone up by like 200. And so like I had these tens of thousands of articles that I had written, and like hundreds of people a minute were looking at these articles, like I was, and they were all uniques. And so then I put like some way of trying to earn money on there, like AdSense or something like that on there. And like I earned like, I don't know, in 3 months, like $90. And then I think they wouldn't give me any money until I got to 100. So I would like at 180, or like at 6 months, I was like at $180 or something like that. And they're like, okay, we're going to send you money. And then like they send this horrible, horrible email to me telling me that I had done one of many, many things. Like you may or may not have done one of these. And it was like the most hideous, horrible list of horrible crimes that you could commit as a human being. Just disgusting things I'd never even thought of before. I just read this thing. It was like, yeah, you did one of these, so yeah, we're not giving you your $180. And I was just like, okay, screw that. So I got rid of the ads, because obviously it didn't make any sense to have ads on there. So then I would go to interviews, and like people would bring up like maybe some article I'd written like 5 years ago in the interview, and then they would not give me a job because I wrote that article like 5 years ago. And it could be some like a stupid idea I had 5 years ago. And I'm talking purely technical. Like maybe I had a bad explanation of what closures were or something. And it'd be like, oh, well, if you think that, you're not good enough to work here. And I was like, oh, okay. So I shut the whole thing down. And I actually did get an email like, hey, why are you shutting this thing down? Look at all the traction you're getting. And I was just like, it's not doing me any good. It's making life harder on me, not easier on me. And I think that is a problem, is that like the same thing happened to me with Wikipedia. Like I created all these bird pages, and then like all these people were looking at the bird pages, and so I put a little link to a bird page that I had, and some a-hole professor from some Ivy League school started removing all my links, because he's like, oh, these aren't professional links or whatever. And I'm like, but I created this page. And he's just like, screw you, you're a loser, because that's how Ivy League people see us. And then I was like, okay, so now I don't participate in Wikipedia, because I think most of the internet kind of just thinks that they deserve free labor from everybody. But anyway, so that is a little bit of I guess most Sundays I do get off on these little tangents. But anyways, I guess I'm seeing a new problem, but maybe, because I haven't saved. But I do benefit from these videos. I mean, I don't get any money from YouTube, obviously, but I learned so much more by going through the audio part in my brain. Like I've become so much better of a developer, and I understand things a lot better. And actually, just performing on camera is just becoming a part of being. I'm not just a developer. Almost all jobs now, all white collar jobs require some sort of on camera performance in teams and in different meetings and stuff like that. So this stuff, but yeah, I suspect at some point I'll probably have to shut my account down and delete it all, because it's just not worth it for me anymore. Like the overhead of trying to take care of it is less than the benefit. But at this point, and I think the same went when I was blogging. At first it was really, really useful, but then it got to where, it wasn't worth it anymore. And there were a lot of people making money off of those things, and I don't know how everybody makes money off of these things, but there's a ton of people like making money off of like these videos I build, but like, so they'll be disappointed, right? But so what? But anyways, so here we are. This seems to work, and that looks a lot better. But obviously, we are not trying to delete a file. What we would like to do is update settings. So let's go ahead and change that. And this is specific to discrete. So update discrete settings. And then discrete settings form goes here. And then I think we only, unfortunately, and then I guess we have cancel and OK. And like when I do a lot of things that are kind of like this, I kind of like to be able to like play with it and do it. And I don't know, maybe like, but we really can't. But you can kind of see behind it. Maybe we want like a button to record a discrete, and so that you can try it. But because you'll still be able to see the values, you just won't really be able to interact with them. But I don't know. Yeah. So cancel or OK. And see, OK is, I don't know what happens when we hit cancel and OK right now. CDK focus. Okay, so it will initialize. I guess this makes it when you first come on. Yeah, that's highlighted. But we're going to want it to be in our form. So we're going to want to create a form. And this is also like used to really confuse me a lot, because when you got CDK and then you have, oh wow, I think that's new, that clipboard. That's pretty neat. Collections, component hearts, dialog, drag and drop, layout, list box, menu, platform, portal, stepper, table, text field. So we're probably going to want to use this so we can make pretty texts, like these sorts of text fields, because those are nice. And then, but people do get pretty confused between like this and then reactive forms. And then they also get confused between reactive forms and React programming, the framework. And then they also get confused between reactive forms and reactive programming, which is like with RxJS. And this really confuses recruiters, especially because they'll be like, oh, okay, so you've been working for Angular for 5 years or 10 years. So tell me about how you do React. And you'll be like, what? And they're like, yeah, React. And you're like, the framework? And then they're like, yeah, the React framework. And you're like, I don't do React. I don't know React. And then they're very confused. And then it's just like, do you mean reactive programming? Yeah, reactive programming. And you'll be like, okay, so with RxJS, blah, 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 blah. And then their next question is, so how does this relate with input boxes? And you're like, oh, so you mean reactive forms? Yeah, that's what I said. I said that in the beginning. And you're like, okay, yeah, you are completely clueless. And I don't blame them. I mean, that is really, really confusing. But anyway, so next thing we're going to do is we are going to make some pretty things. I think there's only 2 things, right? And I think to figure out what the 2 things are, everything gets a bit confusing here. But I think we have to indicate, I think we have to go into our services. And it's so easy to get really confused here. And we have a navigation service, so we are definitely not. We have, is it an app? Because this is not navigation, right? This is just for our navigation for our routes, and then our component, and then continuous, discrete, and then is it in the API? All right, so we're gonna have to travel. Okay, so it's definitely not in the dialog. It's not. Okay, what does the record button do? What do you? Oh, there's another services. And see that. You hate that because I think that was the best way to do that. Well, no, this is the services. Discrete. Record. That. Hello. See, it gets something from speech service. And I don't know where that is. So what we're going to do is, oh, okay, so speech service is sitting at the top up here. So in our speech service, we set up, when we record, right now we only support discrete. So basically this is definitely going to be always false, and then this is going to be false because those are by that way. So all you'll be able to do is the languages and alternatives. So there's only two things and these. So, and then we probably should, it's become, this is the first time it's become very clear that this should be called discrete record, not record. So I'm going to call this discrete record and just let it break. And discrete record, because we're going to have a continuous record. You ready? In the future. So let's go ahead and just take care of that now. And now we have our discrete record. Now I would never do that in a professional environment. Like you can't, like in a professional environment, you really want all of your commits to be very clear as to what they do. So just, unless this, well, we just aren't even committing the way I would want to commit. We're not building this out the way I'd want to build this out. We are building this out like you build out a hobby, not the way you build out something professionally. So, you know, it just doesn't do that. And that is sort of one of the downsides to like kind of recording yourself in hobby mode, is that you really can't blame people, but when they're looking, if they're investigating you to try to bring you in for a very important job, if they're bringing you in for a very important job and then they see you in hobby mode, they're going to be assumed that that's how you behave in professional mode. But that it's just night and day. It's a whole different thing. But anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.